Former BYU quarterback and BYUtv analyst Blaine Fowler joins Alema Harrington here on the set with the season opener days away. Good to see you.
It's game week.
It's 100 degrees here and it's hot, but Thursday night the low is going to be 68 degrees, partly cloudy. So come kick off at 8:15 here local time. It should be perfect.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm glad that it's a late game. In the heat of the summer, and it really feels like summer still, it's nice to play a night game. And this is a game where the football's going to be up and down the field, I feel, so it'll be fun.
It's a white out. We're told about 40,000 pom-poms for the fans here. There might be some other things up in the sky, Alema. As you embarked the first game as a player, what were the emotions?
Oh, the emotions are just pure excitement. You know, there's a lot of young players on this team. Now, it's a senior-laden team, a lot of upperclassmen. There's a lot of guys playing that are young players, freshmen, redshirt freshmen, first time out here on Lavelle Edwards Field. And, you know, for a lot of us, I still remember that moment of being on the field, 65,000 fans going crazy, and you're overcome by it. And then it kind of blends into the background, but that first moment is pretty exciting.
Well, let's take a moment to get to know the foe. Washington State, located in Pullman, Washington. They have an enrollment of 20,000 students. They play in a renovated Martin Stadium that holds 32,000. Colors are crimson and gray. They return 12 starters, 6 on offense, 6 on defense. Notable alumni include Ryan Leaf, Edward R. Murrow, who's the father of TV news, and Bill Nye, the science guy. And of course, former BYU student and rugby player Mike Leach graduated in 1983 before pursuing a law degree at Pepperdine. Then he pursued coaching and is now in his second head coaching gig after a successful run at Texas Tech. He's known as the Pirate, and he throws the ball all over the place. In fact, no one has thrown it better than his offenses over the years. And Blaine is a former Cougar, which is interesting. He came to BYU, but did not play at BYU. And here he returns as an opposing coach.
He took note while he was here, interacted with Lavelle Edwards, came out as a volunteer assistant for a time, and really credits Lavelle Edwards with his thought process on the passing game. I heard him quoted this week saying that the Washington State passing game actually looks a lot more like BYU's original passing game than BYU's does right now, Alema. And he's a guy that loves to throw the football, maybe the best play caller in all of college football. He knows how to find a mismatch, take advantage of his skilled guys, and find somebody that they can hammer and just going after it again and again.
Alema, I think the question, too, is can he put that system in just a spring and fall camp coming into an opener on Thursday?
Yeah, you know, I think one of the good things that he came into was the fact that they were vertical to begin with.
Right.
So what he took over from Wolf was a passing attack already. So sometimes you come in, you really have to change your personnel. I don't think that they necessarily have to do that. You know, they've got good receivers, and Marcus Wilson, their quarterback tool is a good one. So they're not out there trying to play guys out of position. So that allows them to at least, you know, implement that. How long will it take for them to get up and running? That remains to be seen. I think BYU catching them at a good time.
So who to watch? Let's start with the quarterbacks.
Well, Jeff Toole for Washington State, and as Alema mentioned, he's a veteran. He was hurt last year. He's a lot like Riley Nelson. He's had a season-ending injury. He started 12 games 2 years ago and was sacked 48 times. So he's battle-tested. He's got all the tools to throw the football, and he seems hungry. No one is more excited to have Mike Leach on campus than Jeff Toole. And we'll just see how fast he can pick this offense up, but he certainly has the skill set to throw the football upfield and manage this vertical passing game that Mike Leach is going to bring in.
And then for BYU, Riley Nelson?
Yeah, for Riley Nelson, we mentioned a season-ending injury. I talked to Riley on Saturday night. He is so jacked up for this Thursday night. He's been the starter for the entire offseason. What a great leader. Maybe one of the better leaders BYU's ever had in this football program. He really has taken this team and in the offseason demanded a lot from every player on the team. I think he's ready to go. Arm strength has improved. He'll be able to read things better, and I expect him to get to those second and third receivers faster than he did last season.
Alema, who will you be watching?
Well, I'll be watching Marquise Wilson. Mentioned him already, but this is a kid, freshman year, over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, and last year nearly 1,400 yards receiving. Certainly he's the best receiver coming back on this team, maybe the best athlete, pro prospect on this Washington State team. And I think one of the things that makes him even better this year is the fact that Gabe Marks freshman out of Los Angeles is coming in. He's going to be on the other side in kind of that slot receiver position. And now people are going to have to pay attention to Marks as well. So I think that's going to open things up for Wilson. So I think, he becomes better because he's got another great receiver next to him.
Across the field, Michael Alisa?
Michael Alisa, absolutely. Last year we saw him do very well, come in and kind of spotty at first, and then all of a sudden gets, the bulk of the carries and continues to improve. And I think this year with Yona Pritchard in the backfield with him, he'll do great things running the ball, catching the ball in the backfield. And I think one of the nice things for Michael Alisa in this part of fall camp was they started to hold him out a little bit with some small, minor injuries. And you got to remember, this is a kid that played linebacker in high school, in freshman year, linebacker and special teams. He's hungry for contact. And I think come Thursday night, he's going to be out there, lower his shoulders a little bit more as he runs the ball this year, and I think he'll do some damage.
Blaine, let's roll out a new series here on True Blue, which we'll have throughout the season. We call it the Film Room. We're going to see a lot of the nickel defense for BYU as they try to combat against Washington State. So our film session begins with the nickel.
Yeah, in this nickel defense, BYU will have 5 defensive backs. They actually replace a defensive lineman, so 2 down linemen. They go a 2-4-5. And you're going to get underneath coverage. In this instance, it's a linebacker, Hadley, that's running underneath in coverage. He's got help on top and is able to get the interception. This is against Idaho last year. Idaho, remember, ran a spread offense where they'd spread you out and try try that vertical passing game. We saw a lot of this nickel defense against Idaho. This is what I expect to see a lot of. And those linebackers, very active. They run well. They're responsible for underneath coverage. And you have 5 guys in the secondary with speed that can stay on top of things and help you cover things over the top.
They'll also bring out linebackers. They trust their linebackers in coverage. Pendleton walks out in this situation. See him highlighted here. But what you have to have is you got to have good safety coverage. Guys have to be in position. They talk about position mastery at BYU. Assignment sound. This time, safety not in position, and the reception made for Oregon State.
We featured Daniel Sorensen early in the program. Is there a more important job on Thursday, with the exception of Riley Nelson, than Daniel Sorensen?
Yeah, in fact, both safeties have to play extremely well. They've got to give help over the top, but they're also those guys in the back of the defense that get people lined up. Mike Leach is a guy that really likes to confuse you with shifts and motion, and those safeties are going to be responsible for making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be defensively.
All right, Washington State comes in here Thursday and wins
if they can throw for 400 yards. I mean, they want a scoring affair here. If they can throw for 400 yards and not turn the football over, I think they'll be in pretty good shape.
BYU wins?
I think BYU has to have balance. They have this goal of 300 yards passing, 150 yards rushing. If they can balance that offense up and take care of the football, they're going to be in good shape.
Alema, the Red Cougars, how do you see them coming in here and finding success?
They have to be able to throw the ball 400 yards. I'm not going to put a number on it, but they need to build a tool shed, and that means protect their quarterback. Their offensive line, big question mark right now, don't have a solid running game. At least that's what we're understanding as they come into this game. If they can protect the passer and get the ball to Marks and get the ball to Wilson, then they have a chance for success.